integrated system of human and machine for providing, and then underline, information to, underline, support the operations, management, and decision-making in an organization. That's really key for you to understand what I'm talking about as the rest of this lecture goes on. An integrated system of human and machine that provides information to support the operations, the management, and decision-making in an organization. You think about the definition, management information system. Who is the system for? Management. And what do they want from that system? Information. Why? Keep going, you're doing good. So that we can make better business decisions, right? So literally, all an MIS does is it's technology that makes business better. Better decision makers, more efficient, less cost, all of those things. Now, we're going to focus on this, and there will be quiz questions from this. Do not worry right now about the electrical engineering, or electrical computer engineering. We're going to focus on the first two columns, which are computer science and MIS. Follow with me. If you want to write it down, go for it and follow through. But who is the focus for an MIS? It's the business. It's the organization. For the computer science people, it's the actual software. All right? You care about the software itself, not kind of the end use or the business's use of that. So the objective of an MIS is more efficient or effective business, a system of information used by managers, a management information system. So the goal is the more efficient or effective business. Whereas the goal of the computer science side is an actual reliable computer program, the coding, the behind the scenes, making sure that program is actually working. So the core skill in MIS is solving businesses' problems. Core skill in computer science is the actual logic and the procedure to make that system work. The core task: determine business requirements for information systems versus deliver information systems. Theoretical versus applied, balanced versus applied. Now let's get into the job titles. Let's get into those top three. And then these next kind of three are important to me. Generic, I guess it'd be the bottom four. Generic job title. In an MIS, it's the people that are the analysts. It's the people who are doing the design for the business. Whereas for computer science, the generic job title is the actual programmer or the builder of the system, of the software. A typical starting job is a systems analyst versus an application programmer. The career goals, usually, for MIS people, are senior organization managers, making decisions based upon the information. Whereas for computer science, it's actually overseeing the programmatic side of that. And then lastly, and why that fits. So if you want to get a degree in MIS, which college at Midwestern do you go to? The business school, right? Because what's the purpose of that MIS? Business use of it. If you want a computer science degree, that's over in the College of Science, Math, and Engineering. Because that's the science side of it. And so understand the key differences. Things like the objective, the focus, the core skill, the core task, The career goals. Those are the things I want you to really understand the difference between computer science and MIS. Now, part of my job at Midwestern is to oversee the recruitment of international students coming from across the world to study at Midwestern. What are the top 2 graduate programs that they want at Midwestern? An MBA in
Computer science.
data analytics, understanding data and analyzing, kind of a business intelligence. And what's the other one?
Computer science.
Computer science. In the last 2 years, our office has seen over 1,000% increase in the number of applications for the MBA in data analytics and the computer science master's program. Over 1,000% growth in terms of the interest in applications. Why are people willing to uproot their lives and come to the United States to study those 2 things, do you think? Because that's going to be the future, right? And so in a moment, we're going to talk about it maybe, but I'll kind of mention it here. We may only have 20 to 25 seats in master's classes in computer science in the spring. We have over 400 applications for the spring. Now, we can't take them all. We have over 200 in data analytics. We've already admitted 80 students. We can probably take a maximum of about 30. It is my job at Midwestern to build information systems so that the actual decision makers, which are the deans of those colleges who know how many they can take, make accurate decisions on when to cut off applications, how many are going to trickle down to get an I-20, how many are actually going to show up, all of those different factors that go into international student enrollment. But I'm not the final decision maker, but I have to build systems to help them solve a problem. And so there's data, which is just simply a given. It's anything. It's a number, a fact, a statement, a number of applications in computer science. The zip code data that Academy Sports and Outdoors collects when you check out. It's just something, but we don't know what, right? It doesn't have any context. It's just raw data. Information is data that now has been turned into a certain type of meaning. And there's a huge difference between raw data and useful data. It's also why some of the most important data, and it's why social media companies stay in business and they're insanely profitable, even though they don't charge for their product. What are they selling? To who? Yeah. About who? Their users. So they're selling your data, they're selling the preferences, they're selling the things you click on to advertisers so they can customize information for you. So some responsibilities of MIS professionals: secure information, analyze business data and processes, manage users and data, build dashboards and reports. That's what I'm doing right now for these deans so that they'll be able to make informed decisions, because you don't want to cut it off, want to fill 40 seats, and you actually only end up having 22 show up because you cut it off too early because you were basing your decisions on bad data. Develop and administer databases, design and implement algorithms, and ensure the security of networks and devices. That's some of the responsibilities of MIS professionals. Which one was it? Yeah, let me go through this. Let me let people finish voting. While we're waiting, I'm gonna make a joke. It's a joke, okay? Preface this. This is not anything about what you should do. I just used to laugh when people would say, I'm not taking the COVID vaccine because it's got a microchip in it. Fair enough, I'm not advocating whether you should or should not take a COVID. I'm just laughing because we willingly carry a microchip in our pocket every single day that tracks every single thing that we do. I just thought it was ironic, right, that we didn't want that, but yet we willingly, and I guarantee you, if you went into your phone right now and you went to look at the security and looked at how many of those apps were actively sharing your data, you'd be blown away. You ever find it odd when you're just like not even ready to go somewhere, but it automatically comes up? It's like, hey, you're 4 minutes from home. There's light traffic ahead. Like, I'm not even in the maps function, right? And it's tracking me that closely. Just know that you are carrying extremely, extremely, extremely valuable information to advertisers, and they are tracking you like crazy. Not just the government conspiracy, but Apple, Facebook, Instagram, I guess that is Facebook, Twitter, they are literally tracking everything you're doing. Just do it sometime. Go in and look at that security. Look at how many people are tracking you. All right. The best information is relevant, complete, accurate, current, and economical. So if they want complete info on you, they're going to get it from as many sources as they can. And again, that's why these things are so valuable to businesses, because they're telling us, or they're telling people exactly everything that you do. Where you go, how long you're there. I know those Alexas don't listen unless you actually say, hey Alexa, and if you believe that, you're insane. Those things are listening to everything that happens, and they're using that data against you, or for you, depending on how you look at it. Now we wear watches that track it too. They're tracking our health information. I mean, it's just becoming, we're almost becoming robots to an extent. We're getting closer. Do what? I didn't hear you.
He needs an oil change.
Oh, I do too.
I already got one.
All right. Okay. Now, I do want you to make sure you're writing this down and understand the difference between data analysis and business intelligence. Data analysis helps find trends. Companies use data analysis to find trends. The second sentence is there, but I really want you to focus on the first one. Finding trends for data analysis. Analysis examples are gas prices. Now, let's talk about gas prices. There's been about 4 decisions that have happened in the last 2 years that have dramatically affected our gasoline prices. What are they? COVID? Maybe. Russia invasion of Ukraine. Our own government has made decisions to stop producing as much oil domestically. which I think we're really seeing the problems with that decision right now, because that was first. Then you have what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. And so now crude oil has become a weapon. And then what did OPEC do this week? You even know who OPEC is? It's like the Organization of Petroleum. Yeah, it's the Middle East, basically. They did what? They decided not to produce more oil even though the world was asking for it. They actually decided to cut production from the Middle East. Why? Well, it's complicated. Part of it being geopolitical. There's a lot of people that think it was a lifeline to Russia, because had they brought the supply up, prices would have come down. That's the only thing that really Russia is able to use to get around the Western sanctions and keep money coming into the country is gas and oil. So there's some geopolitical things there. But those decisions together have caused the prices to go up that we're paying. However, about 2 months ago, the prices started coming down some. Even though worldwide supply was still restricted, what did our government do to help bring the price down? Anybody know? Anybody care? They opened up our national strategic reserves. And so we had, I don't know the number, you can look it up, they even have a website where you can go track it. But let's say there's 10 trillion gallons of oil that our government holds in reserve. We decided to open that up and start draining that down to offset some of the prices. Okay, great, that's good for me and you. Is that a strategic decision? I don't know. Should we be maybe producing more here in the United States? Probably. But that's what our government has decided to do, is temporarily bring down the prices by starting to drain our strategic reserves. What's the problem if nothing else changes economically with supply and demand? The moment they have to stop, what's going to happen? It's going to jump right back up. So, but that's some of the things that we're looking at analysis-wise, is tracking where the reserves are, because once they probably hit 75% or 50% or whatever it is, they'll have to shut it off, and prices will start to change. Unemployment rates, inflation rates, social media usage, human resources, those are things in data analysis. Again, companies use data analysis to find trends in these areas. That is different than business intelligence. Business intelligence assists managers by helping them answer important questions in business, specifically in their company. Who are our top 10 customers? What factors cause our debts? Who owes us money? Who are our suppliers? Who are our retailers that owe us money? How much inventory do we have? Which location of ours is best? And so you start thinking about things. Just take a place like Walmart, for example, right? So Walmart makes money by being kind of a retailer, right? So they have to store products in their shelves, and then they have to keep it going. And so they want to be notified when their inventory levels get low, so it can automatically rebuy. People will come in and stock it. And so they built a system, a lot of places have now, that tracks, okay, we have this much in stock. As it's been bought, it depletes, and when it hits a certain number, it sends an alert or somehow in the company to purchase more. Okay, that's business intelligence. How much inventory do we have, and when do we know if it automatically needs to be reordered? What products are not selling? Which ones do we not want to carry? Which ones do we need to put on sale because the current price isn't working? Those are business intelligence decisions. And so understand the difference between analysis and intelligence. data itself. Hardware, which we'll talk about in a moment. Software, telecoms, people, and procedures. So the MIS components are what you see listed up here. Now, we're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about hardware. We're going to talk about telecoms. But these are the different components that make up an MIS system. So what is hardware? It's things like the PC itself, like the actual system. You all still behind on that last one? Now, when we talk about hardware, what are we talking about? The computer itself, the phone, the hardware, the servers. Anybody in here work for IT, MSU? Anybody a student worker for the IT department? If you ever are, and you get a chance to see the server room, it's quite impressive. So the servers are these things you see on the right. And they have hundreds of them. They have to keep that room at like 48 degrees in there to keep everything running. So lots and lots and lots of data and information is stored in these servers. Any big business is going to have lots of data stored. How much of it is stored locally on servers, and how much of it is stored on cloud, on offsite. So, understanding that. Telecom systems, the things like the phone systems, the Wi-Fi systems, the satellite systems. Those are, let's see, we had, what were the three? They were PC, server, and handheld devices. And then the pieces of telecom, the phones, the Wi-Fi, and the satellites. So what did Elon Musk launch over Ukraine a couple of months ago? Does anybody know? The system. Had a specific name. Talking about launching it over Iran right now to keep them from being able to shut off the internet. Starlink. Anybody heard of the Starlink system? So we put that out over there so people could have access to this additional type of Wi-Fi system via like low-level satellites. Phone, Wi-Fi, and satellites. What are the types of people in MIS? These are the types of jobs. Business analysts, intelligence analysts, and business analyst looking at business trends, looking at business intelligence. Intelligence agents, so don't forget, you have your career interview assignment coming due soon too. That's due. I had a student a couple of years ago who wanted to work for the CIA and be an intelligence agent upon graduation. We're trying to figure out, the CIA doesn't exactly advertise, hey, here's our spies, come interview them. So how do you find someone to recommend to that person? And so they ended up getting connected out at Shepherd with military intelligence. And that person told them that a great career to consider would have been MIS. Because what do a lot of intelligence agents for our government areas do? They take tons of data, metadata, phone data, all this different types of data, and then tries to look for trends and look for information that can be useful for making decisions. So you've got business analysts, intelligence analysts, database administrators, systems analysts and developers, web design and developers, IT user liaisons, application developers. That's the type of people. So if I asked a question on the quiz that said something like, one of the potential jobs in MIS is website design. Is that true? Yeah. Web developers? Sure. If you're building a system for a business. These are the seven main types. And I'm going to get through these last couple of slides pretty quick. So, if you don't have this one and you're not even close, you might take a picture of it. It's not super important. IT, information security. I don't think, and that's why, we're talking about the graduate programs in data analytics and computer science. That's not going away. That's going to be a very in-demand field for a long time. That's why the entire U.S. military actually believes that they will have more of a need for cyber warfare than they will traditional warfare in the future. So understanding people being trained for that. And so security breaches, viruses, employee theft. If you're like me or another employee of Midwestern, twice a year you have to undergo training about don't do bad things on your email, don't click links, don't do this. Because do you know how many times a day Midwestern is hit with potential hacking opportunities? A day. A couple of years ago, it was over 100 attempts a day to hack into our systems and steal your information. So we are about twice a month given these dummy emails that look like something to see if we'll actually click on it, because that could have been a phishing attempt of a hacker and gain access to our secure systems. So, first time, I think you get your hand slapped. Second time, you lose your computer privileges and get written up. And I think like the third time, you get fired for it. So, they take data security very serious. Think about medical records, think about other things. So this is going to be a growing area. All right, here's just some examples of data breaches. This is starting to get a little dated. There's probably a few others. You don't have to take pictures, you don't have to do anything here. But Yahoo had the largest, 3 billion people's accounts were exposed by hackers. But the most dangerous was Equifax. Because what is Equifax? Credit bureau. So what do they have on you? Literally everything. Your social security number, all the loans you've taken, your payment history, your address, everything about your entire life is going to be held by one of those agencies. So if you're hacked, or if they're hacked, your data is very, it's in the wrong hands. So social media, and that's why you'll see a lot, and I want to mention this reminded me, next Wednesday, I think is October the 12th, before class, I don't know what time it is, but the Dillard College is having a career fair right outside here. So if you come during the day and you're looking for jobs, there's an opportunity. They're looking for interns. If you're actually going to be giving your resume to people, you might want to dress up a little bit. But if you're just kind of going in there to look through to see what it's like, then you don't have to. But there is a career fair going on. There will be a lot of companies looking to hire social media interns. Okay? We employ one person in our office, a student, undergraduate student, who does nothing but manage social media for us. So why? Because that's becoming a growing part of the business's strategy. We have more luck advertising internationally via social media than we do any other method. So this person designs strategies for us. And a lot of businesses now won't even have a traditional website. What happens when you Google them? It takes you to their Facebook page or something. So understand that this is an important part of MIS as well. All right, here's my last 2 slides. I like this one, if that means anything to you. So, the best opportunities for new employment. If you think back to that government database I had, we looked at the percentage of job growth and the overall number of new jobs. And so in MIS specifically, in healthcare, cloud computing, mobile apps, social media, these are going to be areas where there is going to be job demand into the future. And so if these are areas that are of interest to you, then maybe MIS is something you want to consider studying. My cousin works for United Regional. He was a respiratory therapist. That's what he went to school to be. Did that for about 10 years. And he was hired by Epic, which is the medical records company. And now he does the actual work with the doctors and the hospital on making sure that that medical records system functions appropriately for what they need on the floor. He's making more money doing that than he was as an actual respiratory therapist. So there's opportunity out there if you're willing to get involved in these types of areas, if this is of interest to you. Making the system better for business and making business better by the system. All right, the last slide I'm not even going to go to. It's basically like if you like to solve problems and you like to help business decide what's important to them, then perhaps MIS is a potential career for you. All right.